Yeah, not really, but go ahead.
It is for us.
Questions for Coach Dawson?
Coach, a lot of offense last week, but not a lot of points to score. What do you think went wrong?
You know, I mean, how much time you got?
As much as you want.
A lot of time?
Yeah.
I think it's a combination of, you know, when we get down, when we cross midfield and we get closer to the end zone, when defenses get tight, we got to run the ball better, you know, because they don't have to cover as much field. And so we got, overall, we obviously, and everybody in here was at the game, and most people, I mean, we got to run the football better, more effectively. There's no question we can throw it. You know, I think everybody understands that, but to score points in the red zone and in the score zone, you got to run the football. And so we gotta emphasize that, and we got to get more out of it, you know, bottom line.
Do you think it's about making changes or just making fixes to what you're already doing?
I think it's both, to be quite upfront with you. I mean, I think that, you know, you got to look at who's carrying it, and you got to look at who's blocking it, and you got to look at who's calling it. You know, it's three things. And so I do think schematically we've made some adjustments that are going to help. You know, I definitely do. I think that we got some guys that we're going to let have chances that could potentially do some good things, but I'm not sitting here saying that we're not going to hand the ball off to the guys we handed off to Saturday either, you know, but I do think that there's some people in that room that deserve some opportunities that hadn't been getting them, that will get them.
Are you guys locked into your starting five on the offensive line in terms of the position they're in? Or are you into maybe moving some guys around? Are you comfortable with where you're at there?
I'm comfortable where I'm at, but as the year goes on, I mean, we got to demand that we get more, you know what I'm saying? And so everybody should feel like I feel right now, that nobody's job is safe. And so, you know, we got to do better. You know, we got to do better offensively from a coach's standpoint. We got to do better offensively from a player standpoint. And so it's going to be demanded like it is every time you have a disappointing loss. And you got to self-reflect, and you got to look at what you're doing, look at how you're doing it, and look at how you're communicating it. And we've done that over the course of the last 2 days, or how many ever hours it's been. Hadn't been fun, but guess what? Getting beat by a team that you should beat is not fun. And so we got to look in the mirror, and we got to make sure that we're doing the right things to get this team into a point where it can be successful.
At the beginning of camp, you talked a lot about wanting to rotate all of the backs together. When did that perspective kind of change?
Well, it hadn't, to be honest with you. I think if you look at that game Saturday, you know, you have certain guys. Obviously, we got a couple seniors in that room that know things that, you know, younger guys don't. And so Monroe was doing a lot of blitzing, you know. And for a young running back, typically the slowest progression is that, you know. And I didn't feel extremely comfortable putting certain people in those situations to where we might get a free guy hitting the quarterback just because he's not real sure and he's not real, you know, coached up to the point in the protection game where we feel that confident, you know. And whether that was a right or wrong thing to do, I mean, heck, everybody can look back and second guess every right or wrong decision, you know. But it was a decision that was made, and we got to do a good job this week of getting those guys ready. I'm talking about, like, in running backs, you know, when you got a ball in your hand, life, you know, everybody's been doing that since 7th grade. The schemes of everything else around it is the learning curve. And so, you know, and I feel good about the progression of that. And to be honest with you, I was probably a little more careful than I probably should have been, to be quite frank. But ultimately, it is what it is.
Was it a package issue or what? Where on say short yardage, the smallest running back was getting the ball? Was it a package situation?
That was 100% my fault. You know, I'm not going to sit there and put that blame on anybody else, because ultimately Tez was in the game two plays before that, and he got taken out because he got nicked up, you know, and that play was called, and obviously we got to have a different person in the game, and there ain't no doubt about that. That's 120% my fault. Like I said, I'm not, you know, in any way putting myself outside of the whole group. Like when I say look in the mirror, I got to look in the mirror too. And there are certain things that happen in that game that I got to look in the mirror, and that's obviously one of them. And so that was not a good decision on my part. and I take full accountability for that, and that will never happen again.
Are your blocking concepts pretty much the same as last year, inside zone, outside zone?
Oh, zone blocking, yeah. I mean, zone blocking, brother. You know what I mean? It's not,
On the spot.
yeah, it's not too many ways that you can skin a cat on that one. Now, our gap scheme stuff, there's a lot more different moving parts and people that can pull in those kind of situations. But zone blocking is zone blocking. And so, and ultimately, we got to get better at zone blocking, you know? And I think that, you know, our effort is good, you know. I think that our overall targeting at times needs to improve. And so, and we're gonna get that done, I can promise you. And so that is a main emphasis on the coach's part this week. And so I think that I do feel that if we can get that rolling, we can be a pretty good offense, you know. I do think that when you're one-dimensional, it's tough, you know. I mean, I thought, you know, Jack battled his butt off out there, but I mean, he did some things. You know, we got to take care of the football. You know, we can't give them the football. We definitely can't give them the football in a short field where they recover it in the end zone and you lose games like that, you know. And so, you know, those things like that are definitely going to be things that we talk about and work on this week.
What do you guys expect out of an App State defense?
I mean, very athletic. I mean, you start looking. I mean, we were watching them for the last day and a half, and you know, they move around a lot. They do a lot of different things. They're very sound in what they do, and you can tell that schematically they've probably been doing the same thing for a while because they know where they're weak at, and they typically know where people attack them, and they have answers for it. You know, and so they're built structurally. They're probably, you know, similar to our defense in a way, you know, but, you know, we got our work cut out for us for sure, because when we're sitting here talking about things that we need to improve on, and that isn't necessarily a defense that gives too many, that gives a lot of light in those situations up front. So we have, not only do we have stuff internally to work on, but we got a formidable foe staring us down that we got to get ready for.
What does App State's defense do? Let's just say that maybe that they do really well on that side of the ball. Is it the linebackers, defensive line, secondary?
Yeah, I think really all of it. They fit well together. You know, the changes they make up front, and you know, you see a lot of defenses that aren't really synced up as far as front to middle to back a lot of times, you know. But you can tell that those guys, you know, the adjustments that they make up front and the movements that because they move a lot, you know, and the movements that they have is synced up very well from front to back, you know, and so they don't have a lot of miscommunication. It doesn't seem to me, you know, very well coached defense, very athletic defense, and it seems to be a very, you know, cerebral defense with the guys they have out there. You know, they're not in the wrong place a lot.
When you have a less experienced group of guys on offense, what do you say to them for this first road game? How do you prepare them for a trip?
Well, I mean, to me, it's simple. It's more about us than it is about them, and I think that's the same every week. You know, if we would have prepared better last week, we wouldn't be in this situation this week. You know, and so ultimately, we play the game Saturday where the team that won deserved to win. You know, because we didn't play good enough. We didn't play good enough on offense to win the game. And so we gotta take that, we gotta accept it, and then we gotta do things to change it, you know. And so ultimately, it's about us. And so if we get certain things fixed and certain things moving in the right direction, we can be a successful offense to help this team win.
Anything else? Coach, thank you.
Appreciate it, guys.
Yes,
Thanks,
Coach.
Shannon.